Welcome everybody to the Skull Hunter podcast. Whoa, it's Christmas time. Wreck my bells and show me some hell. Okay, guys, we're here. You have your host truly, Jordan. We're gonna pretend like the architects here, but you know, Four Eyes had to go get that milk. It's still no return yet. So joining me today.
We're on the same page about that. I was gonna be like, we're just, oh yeah, he had to go. He still has to go, and I'm sure Daddy will return someday.
Maybe one day. So we got Joseph, and last but not least, we have Charles with the weapon. So please hide your kids from this man, for the love of God. How are my boys doing today?
Not too shabby. Some friends and I got together to play Don't Starve together.
Nice.
The PC game. I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised with how much thought they really put into that game. So, yeah, quick shout outs to Don't Starve. It's interesting. Great sound. Visuals are immaculate. Everybody probably recognizes the game from its visuals.
Okay.
But I realized something. You know, there's a lot of games about survival, right? You have Minecraft. You have, I would say, like
7 Days to Die.
Yeah, there's survival horror, which isn't quite on the point that I want to make. But what was the space one? No Man's Sky, which doesn't seem like a survival game until you play it and you realize you have like 1 minute to stabilize or your character is dead.
Yep.
And Don't Starve is like that too. And what I've come to appreciate about these games now is that the survival is just that first chunk. That's like the opening act. As soon as people survive and they start getting the resources and they start automating the process, it transforms from a survival game to an adventure game. Because now players go off exploring, they got food, they got resources, and it's brilliant. And I appreciate the format a heck of a lot more now.
Sounds like Minecraft.
Yeah. One of the two that I had mentioned, because those were the only two other ones I could think of.
Minecraft's fun. I need to play Minecraft again. But Charles, how are you doing, man?
I've been doing pretty good. Just things. I kind of took a bit of a break from freaking doing YouTube stuff, even though most because I just haven't had anything really that I could think of to upload besides that whole video I recorded this morning. And I showed off this freaking expensive thing, a box.
Man, that must have cost a lot, like a Halo, a lot.
At least it wasn't an infinite amount of money.
Okay, now these fuckers are just being freaking.
Man, good thing it wasn't.
One.
Man, I'm happy this man got a Halo on his shoulder. Or Halo
I'm gonna fucking team kill you the first chance I get the next time to play Call of Duty, Jordan.
You've already done it with Halo, dude. At this point in time, I'm not fazed by team killing. It's just the depressing question of why. Like, that's the only thing I have now. It's just like, why? Why me? Why me? But if you're watching the audio podcast, though, if you can't tell, I got the lights on in the back. I got my hat, so if it starts smacking the microphone, I'm sorry. Maybe these guys will dress up next year. But Joseph looks like a little elf right now. Charles looks like a Facebook representative. You have to watch the podcast to find out. Don't just listen. Watch it. Don't give me that look.
Elf.
Dude, I do. I was going to call myself an elf, but now I was like, I'm too sexy to be an elf. Come on, son. So,
okay, we're thinking of different elves then.
We must be. We must be thinking of different elves.
The Santa's little elves, and because it's Christmas. Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But speaking of little tiny things. Oh, I guess I should mention. Yeah, my week's been good. Busy. Call of Duty video just came out this week at the time you guys are seeing this. Make sure you watch it. Skull Hunter Games self-promote right there. Boom. Okay. So, but speaking of some things that are little, who remembers little Mario? Who remembers the little things in life? Like
thank you for not doing the dick joke, because I thought he's doing a dick joke. Someone's walking into that trap for sure. Yeah. All right.
It's a trap.
I remember. See, now I'm afraid to just respond to things. Right, so I remember Mario.
You remember Mario? Well, maybe you remember some other classics that are going to be tested out on the PC. That is right. We got a little Nvidia leak. They sat there and said that Nintendo may be teasing some of their games on PC that kind of looks like they're mocking PlayStation's route because PlayStation, as we all know, is doing the exact same thing. Is they have their own little PC area. Now, without getting into too much of the details, another week, Nvidia GeForce is now leaking hints upon games that are going to be tested out on the PC. According to this list, we really don't have much besides will be launched new Super Mario Bros. Is in question. What, Charles?
How many times has that game been released now?
Too many times. Too many times. So we're seeing a lot of this, and that's just one of the games that been leaked. And then there's a whole entire article. I'll try to remember to link it in the description. Link it, not leak it. Link it in the description. But it's known from a lot of this that Nintendo's taking a lot of what Sony's doing and doing the PC route. Now, more than likely, this is happening because everyone knows that everyone's leaning more towards PCs. Even the Xbox are now trying to make it to where everything connects from the Xbox PC. I got banned from my Xbox account, my Microsoft account, and then it affected my PC. So people are trying to get things connected to your PC. Also, don't say hate speech on the Xbox. You will be banned. With that also being said, though,
Early 2010s, we can Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer lobby.
Oh yeah, dude. Times have definitely changed because I remember giving some people hell.
Shout out to General Chat on Mordhau. Keep the river of bile flowing. I'm very proud of what I see on that chat.
Black Ops 2, Jordan. Freaking people will be saying some of the freaking most racist shit.
Oh, dude, it was not good. It was
start on the emblems, like.
Dude, there were some sexy avatars on those emblems, okay? Don't even act like you weren't peeking. There was some pony stuff on there. There was some, like, hentai stuff on there. It was free porn. You play Call of Duty, you get porn.
Emblems in Call of Duty again because of that shit.
You do have a good point, but to wrap it back into Nintendo, what do you guys think that this is going to lead for Nintendo, and do we think this is going to be positive since they have a mobile platform already? Do we think moving some of their games to PC is going to be beneficial?
It's that fucking Christmas tree.
All I have to say is thank God. I've been playing, like, I'm a pretty big Nintendo fan, but most of my game time has been on the PC. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be charitable here and say 70% of my gaming lifespan has been PC. So I'm all for it. I know I've talked to you guys about Breath of the Wild in the past, but I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So just to refresh my story real quick, obviously very excited for Breath of the Wild when it came out. Pre-ordered it. I got the digital download, downloaded it, played it. It was great until I visited like the first stable, and then it just started chopping pretty badly. Like, you know, like a gamer can put up with a little bit of chop, but it was just not good. And then it gets to Kakariko Village, just Stormwind during peak hours. That was a World of Warcraft reference for those of you who know where I'm going with that. It's just like unacceptable. And so I had to call them. I had to get my money back, and then I ended up buying on the CD, thinking that the CD would be a little bit ran a little bit better. They've patched it, they've worked on it. It runs better, but my God, it was just not up to the standard that a series as beloved as Zelda should have. And so I said, you know, when I can upgrade my computer, I will get an emulator and I will play it because I own the console, I own the game. I'm not doing anything illegal. Not even doing anything immoral. And so that I haven't done it yet, but that was the plan. So if they're just going to bypass all that and run these optimized games on the PC, thank God. There's two other points I want to make.
Okay.
Number one is I think there is a market for video game consoles to try to take the role of computers. Mm-hmm. If maybe they can have an operating system, some functionality. So while they're not going to be like the main family PC, there is precedent for this. You know, if you remember in the very back end of the day, I think Nintendo's was supposed to be like the family computer. Mm-hmm. That was why it was shorthand to Famicom. So if these consoles could actually become more like computers, I think that would be an interesting way to help people set up their gaming setup. So you can have your PC, your Nintendo computer plugged into one monitor, your main PC plugged into another monitor, have a dialogue between the two, makes streaming easier. That is wishful thinking. But I'd love to see, that's a direction that I'd love to see things take. But then my other more overall point is that you shouldn't have to use games anymore to sell people on systems, because I think it's usually just like 1 or 2 games per system that do it. We got Halo for the Xbox. I guess the Soulsborne series, especially Bloodborne on the PlayStation.
Maybe a big
Uncharted.
one right now is Spider-Man. Last of Us. I mean, those are 2 games for the PlayStation. We got Halo and Gears of War for the Xbox. And
Nintendo,
we have
Smash,
for
Mario,
Nintendo.
and Zelda. It's really those. I think those are the 3 main ones, like Smash, Mario, and Zelda.
Yeah.
There are other ones, but Nintendo hasn't really supported them all too well. So but the Switch is still.
Never mind. Sorry.
That's all good. The Switch is still a piece of hardware worth investing in because of its functionality. Being able to take it anywhere, plug it into anything, go on long trips with it, go on short trips with it. So it's still appealing as a piece of hardware. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'd love to see them make these games and just not have the kind of restrictions that they've had in the past.
Okay, now real fast though, because I was big in the education side of like YouTube and streaming in 2020. So 2020 had the highest rate of mobile games being played and streamed. So why do we think that it's a great idea for Nintendo right now, being currently a mobile game console and a mobile PC all at once? Why do we think it's a good idea for them to get put into a situation where now they're on a computer? Because they've claimed at least in 2020 they claimed dominancy in the mobile gaming world. Even Nintendo Switches were mobile gaming. Like they claimed that.
So it counts as mobile gaming. I mean, yes, it does, but at the same, to me, just the Switch is like a home console that you can take with you.
Okay, is that kind of how like you personally see the Switch? Is like that's like a home console? Like, do you bring it out, and when you do bring it out, do you play it? Okay, actually, no, I'm going to take that back. What would you see yourself doing more? Playing on your phone, playing a game on your phone, or pulling out your Switch and playing it on the Switch? Like, which one would you see yourself doing?
Yeah, so mobile games, and I have a personal thing about mobile games, is I kind of wish I could call them something different. I like calling them Go games. And the reason why is because they're all about forward momentum. They're about collecting resources.
There's always something happening. Yeah.
And it's very hard to get to the end game of these things by design.
Okay.
Because you can only invest so much time in them. You can only put so much skill into them. There are like time-based restrictions that limit growth, and they do that on purpose because they want people to be in a state of constant growth, and so that's why I like calling them Go games, but I don't know if it'll stick. These games are made to be played like in 30-second spurts, minute long, 2-minute long, and yes, and there are some more in-depth games like Fortnite and Call of Duties. They're moved onto the phones now, but the optimal experience is not the phone. The optimal experience is either a PC with mouse and keyboard or a TV. The bottom line, to answer your question, to make sure that everybody's happy, is just options. There's no reason why they can't put these games on on other platforms if they run. So if Smash can go on to the computer and can cross-play with people who have it on the Switch, everybody wins. It's the game's already made, so they just need to add on resources. I guess the one problem that I can see is if they were to make a game that is only able to run on the computer due to the graphics on it. But I would say then, if the game was that appealing, somebody would have to put that kind of money down to buy the console anyways. So they might as well just like pay for the upgrades and just play it on the computer. Or remember, Arth brought up streaming, or it's just streaming games, so that's going to be in the mix sooner or later. Before you know it, people will be play any game on any device. And I think I might be alive long enough to see it, but I don't know.
Oh, and unless
the Switch is fucking Halo, that's for damn sure.
Guys, don't
Jordan,
worry.
do you feel like I answered your question, or did I go too far off the?
No.
Okay.
You answered the question pretty well, and the biggest thing, because I don't have a Switch. I've been wanting one. I just haven't got one yet. But I see the Switch being classified as a mobile game, and Animal Crossing was one of those things that really proved that. Is people didn't play it by just sitting at home and stuff. I guess when quarantine was happening, they did, but when I was able to get out of the house, obviously being safe, I would see people when they did have their Switches out, that's a game that they were playing on there. And I'm just like curious if you could have that option to play it on your phone or bring your Nintendo Switch with you, would you do it? And if so, would that affect your way to play it? Like, would you instead go on your Switch and play at home or go on your PC? Now, we talked with Chad about a year ago on the podcast here, and he brought up that it was nice to be able to hop on the Switch and play the Switch while his girlfriend's watching TV that he doesn't really care for, and she has the girls over and stuff. So he kind of brought that up where it's like, the main console's there, that in this case would be people's PC. Their main thing is there. They can now have it as a normal device. And he stated that he wouldn't play anything on his phone, not just because it was going to blow up, but just because he had a gaming device there. So, but yeah, you answered the question. Now, I want to kind of lean it over to Charles and ask more like, how does he feel about the Nintendo situation going to PC, and what does that mean? Or what did he think that's going to mean for Nintendo, and would that change how anything lies?
I know one thing. I hope if they do plan on having Smash on PC, that they hope they won't have an issue of people trying to modded characters into the thing.
Oh, I guarantee they're going to have problems.
They're going to have to fix that freaking online put some freaking rollback in that shit.
You ain't wrong.
No, you're really not wrong.
Lose my shit. They actually get a freaking Pokemon MMO, but the closest thing to probably get to that is Sword and Shield. The Sword and Shield is practically an MMO.
I think the closest thing you got to Pokemon MMO is Pokemon Go.
Yeah, actually, that's not wrong. And so I don't. Once again, these are leaks. These aren't guarantees. These aren't anything that is 100% documented. But this one article.
Don't get your panties in a twist if you don't freaking see Paper Mario, Baby Mario, Super Mario Sunshine, whatever the fuck it's called, Mario Golf, or any of that shit.
Exactly. Like, don't get upset, especially what we're saying. It doesn't come true. But so, air quote leak of what I found. And the reason I say air quotes is because as soon as I went onto the website, my browser went black and then loaded back up. So I probably have a virus for this podcast.
Especially going to be upset that small group of people who like the Mario Galaxy games.
Hey, Mario Galaxy was all right, but here is 4 games that they're saying that is air quote officially leaked is Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, Super Mario Party, and Super Smash Bros. And Super Mario.
Honestly, just those 4 games alone, would be a great start for Nintendo coming to PC.
Yeah, if that's true, I think those are really good ones. Except I expected to see Mario Kart in there. Like, I would think that they would try to move that over to PC. Now, but what if they sit there and they move this stuff to PC? But what if it's a situation where Steam is the one that gets it? What if they have to move it to Steam? Now they lose money. They lose any kind of a membership deal that they can do with people being like, hey, if you pay $5 a month, you get access to these low-budget games and stuff like that. So I would be more afraid of that happening.
I don't expect to see them on Steam.
Okay.
If Nintendo is smart, and they are, but sometimes their choices...
They make some questionable decisions. Yeah.
What they would do is they would have their own client, so they would have their own service, and then your account would be connected with, say, the game on the system as well. So wishful thinking now, if I were to get Smash on the computer, I could load up my account and then all my unlocked characters are already there. That's wishful thinking. But I expect Nintendo to have their own client. I figured they would do that because you want to be in control of the experience.
Yeah.
And if they have the game on Steam, then they're handing the reins over to Steam, and the Valve fans have been pretty vocal in the past about things they don't like. There was a Defense of the Ancients, aka Dota, there was this Halloween event they do called Dire Tide. But one Halloween they were expecting it. It didn't show up when they thought they were going to get it.
Okay.
And so they started saying, Valve, give Dire Tide, give Dire Tide. And eventually Valve turned into Volvo, which is Volvo, give Dire Tide. And then they went onto the subreddit for Volvo, the car company, and they said, Volvo, give us Dire Tide, give us Dire Tide.
Yeah. Man,
They did
A
eventually
lot of
get
those
Dire
whole
Tide.
bunch of games, as you call them, Join, is freaking ones people grew up with in the 80s and 90s.
Wait, what? What you calling me out for?
When you were talking about those $5 things or whatever that you called low budget games, a lot of those, especially like the older Sonic ones, that people, especially this one dude I follow and support on Twitch, freaking grew up with it. Now he even still has that old handheld system, which is like one of the first ones called the freaking Game Gear, that still works to this day. And let me tell you, that thing freaking, I'm amazed it still works. And it actually, in some of the games I've seen him play on, it's actually pretty good looking.
Yeah, I'm
is.
surprised that that he has a console that works that's that old. He must have actually took really good care of it. But yeah, unfortunately, like you were just saying, is a lot of the air quote low budget games that I was saying, you know, were games that people play all the time and people love, and those are like, and I hate to say, but like, they're like Pokemon Green and Pokemon Red and stuff like that. They're classified under the category of low budget games because they're not being sold at the moment. Nintendo already sold their amounts of these games. They're not making a profit. So if they put them up on Nintendo's site for $5 to buy, or you pay $10 a month for their Nintendo Pass, and there you go. Like, you get those to play for free. I mean, and now we know the cloud services are starting to actually be a thing. Xbox Cloud has officially launched, and I haven't used it yet. I'm still leery on it because my internet is questionable some weeks. So I'm leery on using it, but I mean, if they start doing stuff like that to where you don't even download a game off the Nintendo site, that could be something, and make it to where they can do that. I mean, I feel like that would be a good test to try it.
I think I was looking at games on the Nintendo's website. They had Pokemon Red and Blue freaking for the 3DS on there for like $10.
Really? That's actually surprising.
Like I said, but good luck trying to find a 3DS.
Up on my shelf.
You might have a easier time finding the 2DS, and not like the original DS. I mean, like, they took the 3DS, they removed the 3D setting because no one was using it, and then they put out a new.
Yeah, okay.
So you'd probably have an easy time finding those. They're not too hard to get.
Yeah, and then they made an adapter for it.
I only want the 3DS because Pokemon Alpha Sapphire is on that system, and it's basically remake freaking a Pokemon Ruby into Sapphire, which also has bits from freaking Pokemon Emerald, which is my favorite Pokemon game besides the ones that I have on my Switch right now.
Okay. And since that was pretty much most of our Nintendo topic. The other thing I wanted to bring up with Nintendo still being in mind is, so we know Nintendo's now moving over to the PC. So, or at least supposedly gonna try to move over to the PC side, and we know Xbox has already done it successfully. I mean, they are pretty much what we're using to fire up our PCs is a Microsoft account of some sort. So they've obviously linked it perfectly to PCs.
The new Xbox is practically a PC anyway.
Exactly.
Not to mention they were making PC games before. It is kind of funny that Microsoft dipped their toes into the console market, and then, like, 4 generations later, Nintendo and Sony thought, hey, you know what we should do?
We should
really try putting our games on the computer.
We should do this. Yeah, it's
a little bit of flipping the script. It took us a while.
You would think they would do it so much sooner, but so what if all the pretty much game developers decide to do this, and we know subscription services are still a thing. So we have Xbox that has it called Xbox Game Pass. A questionable post I've been seeing a lot is Sony's calling theirs Sony's or PlayStation Game Pass.
I've been hearing
but
about
don't they
that.
already have PlayStation Plus?
I thought that's what it was called, but I keep seeing all these images across the internet that's saying it's going to be called PlayStation Game Pass. And it's the same exact, like, how Xbox has theirs. Now, these are photos I'm seeing. I don't know if they're 100%, but
Right from the air grievance?
I just want to see Nintendo Game Pass now. That's all I want to see. So then we have all these, and I just want Steam to sneak in there going, Steam Game Pass. And
Sony does this. They better have freaking Resistance Fall of Man, the whole Resistance trilogy on there, even that freaking PSP one that nobody played. And if Nintendo does it, I better see some old fucking Pokemon games on there.
well, you should be happy. PlayStation is going to be releasing PS1 games, PS2 games, and PS3 games onto the PC. They said almost their whole entire PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3 are going to be added to the PC when they get it all done. So that means every game Sony's made for the PlayStation, from PlayStation 1 to 2, and what did they make in between that? It doesn't matter. Whatever they did, they're going to move those to PC. So that means we're going to get classic games back, like the original 007 to Legend of Dragoon to the original Resident Evil games.
Oh, on
But
007?
Yeah.
007, that was an N64 game.
it was...
Yeah.
007 GoldenEye? Yeah.
No,
Talking
not
about
Nintendo
GoldenEye,
64.
not GoldenEye. I have GoldenEye on the 64.
Okay, a different James Bond game.
Yeah, a different one. I was losing it. I was like, we didn't have Nintendos growing up. We just had a PlayStation. But
I don't freaking see Resistance Fall of Man on freaking play on PC at some point. There are going to be some problems.
Charles is threatening people again. So before we get a psychopath in this video, do you guys have any final thoughts on the Nintendo moving over to PC? Any of the game leaks? Is there anything you're hoping to see?
I was just gonna air one grievance, which is like I subscribed to the PlayStation Plus for a year because some of my friends wanted to play Bloodborne.
Okay.
It's done like 2 sessions, and it hasn't exactly been like a committed thing. And then I also bought Don't Starve together on the PlayStation, and then we talked about it and decided to play Don't Starve together on the PC. So I had to go buy it again there. It was on sale for $5. Still, principally, it's pretty frustrating to want to be able to commit to these things socially, but with all of these different consoles and all of these different services, it's a total waste of money in a lot of these cases. So and it takes away from games, and it takes away from the ability to play these things and just enjoy them, because I'm on the clock. Either I get my money's worth out of Bloodborne within the next 9-10 months, or I was like, all right guys, well, we didn't do it this year, but I'll sign up for PlayStation Plus and we'll play it again next year, and I'm not going to feel bad about that at all. And the thing that really burned my ass is that you can download games for free on PlayStation Plus, but as soon as the subscription's up, you can't play them anymore.
Yep.
I would have been like, I'll take 1/10 of the free games if I can just keep it, but no, I can't do that. So, yeah, it feels so messy between multiple consoles, multiple interfaces, phone games, pluses, passes, and I just reminded myself of like how fortunate I was for every Sega Genesis game that I got as a kid, and how every game was precious. Now I'm not even spending money on games. I'm spending money on social obligations. Yeah, on passes. So it's nonsense, and it's frustrating, and I am like, there's got to be a better way, and the better way has been PC all along. Just playing games on your computer all along has been the better way.
Stuff. Now you know how a Destiny player feels like.
A Destiny player probably feels poor because he bought a bunch of books instead of the new Halo. My last final thoughts for the Nintendo, with all the news coming out. I'm personally excited for it because I don't get the opportunity to play Nintendo games. I want to go back and play the classic Zeldas, and now if they are going to be able to move things over, it's going to be so nice to be able to actually play the Zeldas and follow along with the story. So I'm excited, and like Joseph mentioned, is we can now have one solid unit, and like he mentioned, is you can upgrade your PC for the same amount of money it's going to cost to buy that console you're going to play it on. Except now you can play it and actually get your community together, get a Discord set up, and be like, hey guys, I'm going to go on this game. Anyone wants to join? It'd be so much easier to do that stuff. So I'm personally excited for it. I'm hyped for it, honestly. I just want to see action. I want to see more than just a leak to happen. I want to see that it's happening and this is gonna happen. Like with PlayStation, I wasn't really that enthused about it until we started seeing action. Now it's like, okay, I'm ready for this.
You know, I just realized something. We have that chip shortage, and I wonder if that chip shortage has had any effect on this, because rather than having to constantly manufacture consoles across all of the different companies, I think if people are realizing that, you know, resources can be scarce in the future, so you know, it might be time to move on from this. And if I never have to buy a console again, I'm gonna be pretty pleased about it.
Honestly, if the chip shortage is what caused this, dude, I'm honestly thankful for
I think it's a factor, yeah.
I just think it would be cool that if they did freaking bring the Resistance trilogy to freaking PC. The only reason why I keep bringing it up because that was one of my favorite PlayStation series, even though I only got to beat the first one and I never got to finish the second one or play the third one. And I sure as hell didn't play that shitty PSP one! It's because I know that on PC, at least hopefully people will be able to run their own servers, especially the original Resistance Fall, man. So I can hop back into that game, figure start grenade launch people from across the map on that rooftops map. Literally, the freaking. I've said this before, freaking. They had this little one constantly going, never ending lobby. People just go in and out and could join in. And people on this one map on rooftops where if you want an advantage to be able to just freaking snipe people that are on the ground, you had to get up on the rooftops because all the maps are based off of campaign missions. And you can literally just stand in one corner of the map and just grenade launch your freaking people from across the map. It's freaking fun. And if you really want to just wanted to get easy XP, just never have to join any other lobby, you can just join in that.
I'm concerned about your mental health, and hearing more about your past, it all makes sense. You're like a Thomas Kincaid puzzle that's not completed.
For how long you know I'm freaking not exactly the most mentally sane person at times.
You're not wrong about that, but you know what is truly insane is the segue to our next topic. So I think it released today. I'm not 100% certain at the time of recording. Monday, December. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. There was a new trailer that launched, and because I haven't even seen the first movie, the movie we're talking about is Matrix. I haven't seen it because I'm uneducated. So we're going to move over to someone who actually has seen it and that actually brought this to our attention. Charles, give us what you got.
I watched the new trailer earlier, and part of the reason why I got, because I seen Taiwan Magnus react to it, and then I wanted to look up and see it. And one of the things I'm hyped about it, because apparently a whole leak and rumors about Trinity actually being the one instead of Neo freaking might actually be coming true, and everything seems to have more of a focus on Neo and Trinity in this one. Plus, there's a character who I think is supposed to be the new Agent Smith, because he even said Mr. Anderson in the trailer. And also, freaking Neo is showing us fucking Jedi powers like crazy. He's freaking force pushing shit all over the place.
So with me not being a Matrix viewer, I can't say a fan, but a Matrix viewer, was John Wick in the original Matrix?
No, but freaking Matrix was one of Keanu Reeves' first big movie roles, and that's one of the most.
It was his breakthrough role. Although Speed was a pretty good warm up to it.
And yes, he does look like John Wick though in the movie.
Okay, that's where I'm getting it from. Okay, that already proves that I have not seen the movie. I barely watched the trailer. I literally was watching it as we were getting ready. I went, "Oh, cool! This actually looks entertaining. I should watch this." And then I seen the name of it. I went, "I should watch the first one."
I've not seen the first one, but I assume seen the other two.
No, I haven't seen any of them. I have literally been just under a rock, dude. I have not seen any of the Matrix movies. My Brittany has. Brittany's seen all of them. I have not seen one of them. But I'm catching up on things that I'm being educated about in the TV world.
I'm being really nice about not flipping out on all these jackasses driving by my house.
So Charles live at 1-800. Just give them your address and then have people just running down the road.
You want to do a Matrix watch party? I haven't seen that movie in a while. I'm
surprised you haven't seen them, Jordan. They're freaking some of those popular movies that have ever came out. Especially if you like freaking movies that, I can't really describe them, but they're really good movies in my personal opinion. Especially if you like movies that make you think.
Yeah, I love any movie that makes your brain start working because I can't stay still for too long and I cannot like if I stay still I have to be focusing on something. So I have to be doing something. So if my
And
brain's
this,
thinking while watching a movie, I love it. But if I have to read in a movie, I will shut it off as soon as possible. Like that's a whole new level. I'm like, "Oh, anime cool, I'll watch it." "Oh, I have to
basically, thing
read?"
is, Matrix actually has its own anime.
Oh, I'm so behind.
It's called the Animatrix.
Wow,
No,
what a name.
like it is. Yeah. But
think
it's,
I've also
it's not like an anime series where there's like like an arc over a number of seasons. It's a bunch of short stories that were all compiled together into an animated
They
set of
all tie
vignettes.
into the lore and story of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
That's
one thing I did pick up on in the trailer that this new movie, I guess, is basically where the war between humanity and the machines is probably going to restart. Because freaking it looks like humanity is going to be fighting over trying to get Neo and Trinity out of the Matrix, and while the machines are trying to make sure that doesn't happen. And, like it's shit's going down in the freaking this movie, man.
Oh, well, dude, I'm excited to see it. Like I'm truly excited to see it. Joseph, what about you? Oh, by the way, you said about a watch party. Dude, we should make that happen whenever we have a free day. Just have a watch party. I'm down for it.
Wicked. Yeah. Friday's usually a good day for me, but we'll deal with that after.
Okay.
So I don't know. I guess I'll watch it. But there's the Matrix has had a certain cultural impact that I don't think that the creators necessarily wanted, because one of the most popular motifs from the Matrix is the red pill, blue pill dynamic.
Yeah.
And also bullet time.
But well, bullet time was I mean that was popular for a while, but that fizzled out. The red pill, blue pill thing sticks around even to this day. And now there's a whole psychology behind like different pills. If somebody is a black pill, that means that they're full on in despair and they don't think anything good is going to happen. Red pill is like you're starting to understand the rules of the world and the veil has been lifted over your eyes. People are going to disagree with that for sure, but that's what. And the creator. My understanding is that the creators weren't happy with how red pill, blue pill was interpreted. So I think there's going to be a lot of like modern politics injected into this movie as a reflection of how people understood the previous movie series and all of the culture that cropped up in between the two. So it will be interesting to hear the creator come back after all these years to make their counterpoint. But for some reason, I don't think that I'm going to agree with their counterpoint.
For those who don't know what bullet time is, basically that thing that they had in the mat and I forget what it's called, but basically when things slow down to like a slow crawl and you're able to dodge bullets. On Neo's case, he's able to move like in the eyes of other people like as fast as the machines do.
Well, bullet time is a cinematic technique to time moves at the speed of a bullet. So like it slows down so that you can watch the bullet move. So it's not like Neo is like channeling slow motion or anything. He's still moving at like normal speeds. It's just in order for him to avoid the bullet, it goes so fast that they just sped it or slowed it down so you can actually see what was happening.
Didn't they have to use like I think it was something stupid amount of cameras. Like because they didn't have one that just ran in a circle. Like they had like not 100, but they had like a huge amount of cameras that just got like every little frame.
Cameras. And one frame. Every camera would take a shot, and so then it would use all of those shots.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was listening to
in
podcasts
the movies
talking
before
about
Neo
it.
discovered his powers. It basically was what the machines used to avoid bullets, and why it was so hard for anybody to actually hit one of the agents because the agents would just dodge the bullets anytime somebody tried to shoot them. Especially Trinity, you're literally standing right next to an agent, just.
Now, I think it's from Matrix. Wasn't there a hand-to-hand combat scene that they were like doing, and it was all done in one take, and they were even shocked because they were like, "Okay, we got this." Like, I don't remember who the director was, but he was like, they were fighting on like a rooftop or something like that. They were fighting on a parking garage or something, and they were doing like super fast, like moving things, and then it was slowed down as everything. Like they did something, some kind of fight, or it was in some movie that there was like a hand-to-hand combat with guns coming at them, two people, and then they did it all in one take, and it was like cameras like swapping positions and stuff like that. I think it was The Matrix because the Matrix has so many nominees for awards for the camera
There
work.
is a fight scene that was one take, and a hammer was involved, and there were a lot of people, but it's a totally different movie though. It's called Old Boy, and it's about this guy who's trapped in a room for like 20 years and doesn't understand why, and then one day he's let out, or maybe he escaped, I'm not sure, but he learned to fight while he was in there. So it's one scene, and it's shot side scrolling, and it's like one guy taking on like 20 guys, and I'm pretty sure it was all one take. That's the one that comes to my mind, but the way they shot that is not exactly Matrix.
Fight can even take down 20 people by himself after self-teaching himself how to fight is amazing. Especially after being stuck in a room for 12 years, no food or anything.
Yeah. While we're at it, any of you guys seen The Raid? No, that movie had some fantastic fight scenes.
I have not seen it.
It's excellent.
What movie is The Raid? Because that sounds like a World War II movie.
No. Oh God, I'm gonna get the country wrong. I think it was made in the Philippines. No, that's not fair. I'm gonna check it out real quick. The Philippines was my guess.
I remember I've seen a World War II movie where a group of soldiers had to assault a Japanese imprisonment camp, and they were freed. But a group of soldiers that was held hostage in the camp.
Oh, Indonesian. Okay, The Raid was Indonesian.
Okay. Yeah, I have not seen it. I'm trying to find this movie, dude. Like, I know it was like some kind of scene.
Modern, where they like kung fu fight, so there had to be guns, right? So it's not like a medieval movie.
No, it's not a medieval movie. So what ended up happening is I remember like these two individuals were on their side, and then they had people coming at them with guns. And they had pretty much like a pan around shot the whole entire time. They used a bunch of cameras, like they quoted The Matrix, and I think that's why I'm getting it. And they did it all in one take where they're back to back, and they're like doing stuff, going under each other and doing all this kind of stuff. It was done in one take. And like, I remember listening to this podcast, and they were like talking about how one takes are done, and that a lot of them are done by accident. A lot of them were just like, okay, we're going to do this test run. We're going to see how it goes. They do it, and they're just like, no, that was seamless. That was perfect. And they like did everything so well. They called anytime there was a fight scene, they call it like a dancing technique. Is because you have to know where your footing is. You have to know whether your partner's
it's choreography.
Yeah, choreography. That's what I was trying to think. I just can't say the word.
Yeah, I don't remember the scene. I probably haven't seen it.
If someone who's watching the podcast, please help me. I'm going to be dying on this. Okay.
I have one thing. If somebody in the Matrix, if you're anything like freaking Goat, that one guy made in like the second movie that Neo had to fight. If you want to get to know who somebody is, just fight them. There's literally a character in the second movie that literally only fights Neo just to make sure that he is who he says he is.
I believe that. Dude, it's like some Karate Kid nonsense. I'm down. Man, but yeah, I seen it. I want to see it. I want to see all the Matrix movies. So maybe I'll actually get some time. Not this week, but later on throughout the rest of the year. Maybe I might have some time. But I'm bringing it back. First time we've done this in season 2 of the podcast. We have all-timers.
Oh, man, it's been a while.
I know I was going to wait until James got back, but unfortunately he's still getting milk. But because the holidays, I wanted to bring back all-timers, so I want to know everyone's all-timer favorite holiday snack. To milk and cookies, to orange juice and gum, I want to know your all-time favorite snack. So while you guys rest on this, I want to talk to the viewers specifically because I think you guys already heard an ad or seen an ad, but this video is sponsored by Anchor. They're an all-in-one platform to get your podcasts done. You literally can start your podcast with the app, plug your microphone in, record your whole entire podcast, end it, edit, post it, done. And it goes out through all of your platforms. You don't need to do anything. Just connect your accounts and Anchor takes care of the rest for you. How is this possible? Because Anchor is the one who is your podcast expert. So if you ever have any questions on should I start a podcast, the answer is yes. Start it. You have nothing to lose. And if you're worried, I want to see revenue. I want to know if I'm going to put the time and effort into a podcast. I want to see revenue. They pay you immediately. You immediately start seeing ads for every views you get ad revenue off it. So what are you waiting for? Just start the podcast, use Anchor. You can find them on, I think it's Apple Store, Google Store, anywhere you can download apps, you can find Anchor. So make sure to download Anchor. Links in the description. And yeah, if you want to search a podcast, use Anchor. First time ever doing a actual live Anchor ad. But because I feel like we've been slacking. So now I'm going to go back to the boys. Boys, what's your all-time favorite holiday snack?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Anchor as well. It's like if you're ever in a bad mood and you lose your temper a lot, you might want to sign up for Anchor Management.
Thinking video games before Joseph.
Anchor, don't take your ad revenue back, please don't. It was a bad joke, but I loved it. Anchor, please, we love you.
Freaking Misty's anime as hell on this.
So here's my answer. Now, I couldn't think of anything other than, but this is served at a meal, so it's not like a snack, but it is still my favorite thing to eat during the holidays. So
Okay.
I hope it gets a pass. But I love stuffing. It's my favorite meal. I feel like I sit down to holiday meals, eat the stuffing, and everything else is just a compromise so I can have the stuffing. Like like ham, turkey, it's all dry to me. Oh, this cranberry sauce, I don't give a shit. What's for dessert? Pumpkin pie? More like pumpkin D's nuts. But I love stuffing.
And the pistol's back.
James, it was.
See, I
need
can
James.
do.
We need James. You know what? So biggest thing is if you had a thing of stuffing next to you, would you eat it for a snack?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I
Okay,
suppose
so then, yeah, we can count it as a snack. Now, I got a follow-up question with that. Is it homemade stuffing? Like, get the bread, bake it, do all that? Or is it the stuff you buy in a bag, pre-bought?
Store-bought's fine. Yeah,
Okay, so
store-bought's fine.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Just stuffing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not picky about stuffing.
I like it either way. I
just
like
wanna eat it.
Lola makes stuffing. I could eat the whole freaking thing of that stuff whenever she makes it.
Same, dude. Stuffing's great. I'm glad we can
I like
all
pumpkin
agree
pie
on
more, though.
stuffing. But, yeah, Charles, what's your favorite holiday snack?
I like pumpkin pie a freaking ton. I could eat a whole pie by myself if I wanted to.
Easy. It's so easy. Like that's not even a question. So my favorite holiday snack is it's a snack for sure. My favorite holiday snack is peppermint tea with red velvet cookies with cream cheese inside of it. Those are my favorite holiday snack, and I didn't realize that until last year. Like, I just all of a sudden had it one year, and I went, oh my god, like, this is the best. Peppermint tea, and then the cookies with the weird cream cheese filling. They're made by a place that Target does their stuff with. I forget what the company is, but you can get them at Target, and they're great. Sometimes they have white chocolate chips on it. It's amazing. For a holiday snack, pretty good. But for a meal, like if we're talking a meal though, honestly, like stuffing, no. Like you cannot go wrong with store-bought, with homemade, you name it. The stuffing's gonna be what's gone, or I'm taking it from your house. Like there's no one's gonna say, who doesn't want the stuffing? Everyone's gonna be like, yes, please, plate now. Like it's a thing. Stuffing. You gotta love it. Now, do anyone have gravy on the stuffing, or is it just plain?
Plain.
Not needed.
All that-
But if there happens to be some gravy left over from the rest of the meal, then maybe I'll just put some gravy on it. But not needed.
Okay.
What's that stuff called that when you take it like a can of fruit and like put it in a bowl and then mix it with freaking like whipped cream or something?
A monstrosity. I know what you're talking about. When you take fruit, put it in a bowl, mix it with a smoothie. I know what you're talking about. I can visualize it. I just can't think of the name. It's a
It's that fucking Christmas thing again.
oh man, I know what you're talking. It's like a fruit cocktail, but
Yeah.
Fruitcake?
what?
No,
No,
I would like fruitcake though. I've never had a fruitcake in my life.
Get fruitcake,
Don't
dude.
Pay it with me. I was just trying to help.
Return one of your books. Get some fruitcake, man. I know money's tight right now. Get some fruitcake so you can have the American experience of how bad fruitcake is. I love it so much. I buy a little thing of fruitcake every year, and I eat it because I hate
If
it
it's
that
anything
much.
like that freaking fruitcakes I've seen on Grandma got ran over by a reindeer every year on Christmas, I just want to buy one so I can huck it at somebody I hate.
Yeah, that song depresses me.
I mean, the freaking
What part?
movie.
The
I meant
mass
the freaking
murder
movie that's on
or
Cartoon Network every year.
oh.
It's just the loss of a loved one. I don't want to hear about
I was
that
talking
on
about a
Christmas.
cartoon movie I've watched since I was a kid, and then Joseph's bringing up freaking murder.
The man
There's that
bringing
Michael-
guns
there's that-
into play. He's
There's that
talking.
one. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. Man, that guy killed himself. He took his heart out and gave it to somebody. Poor guy.
I
James is
mean,
gonna be like, "What the fuck?" when he sees this.
oh, well, James is not here. I'm gonna be James for a second, guys. Let me just get into the James attire. I don't have the onesie or whatever he was wearing. So
He also don't have his freaking mullet or his beard, Jesus-looking beard.
do you want me to just put black stuff on my face? Then it will look like a beard. Okay. Let me just.
You also don't have freaking.
Jeez. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I was. Oh boy, did I get the wrong idea when you said black stuff in your face?
Okay, well, I was just gonna be James going, my all timer is I like a nice Chardonnay for a holiday snack, and I like normal chocolate chip cookies because I'm not original and I play CS:GO. Oh wow, James! So happy you were here for that. Watch this.
I forget who it was, but he sounded like that one child actor that freaking wore glasses and he was a colored person. I forget who he was.
Jaleel White.
I don't know. I can't remember his name. It was like forever ago.
I just
Was it Family Matters?
I think so. I don't know.
I like how you just named every white kid in the 90s. It's like every white kid with glasses. You just said, yeah, you were like that one for the Christmas. I think I know which one you're talking about. I do know which one you're talking about. It's not Home Alone. It's the one with like the whole BB gun and stuff like that. I think
Not
that's
that one. I was talking about
No?
like a dude who was on a TV show at one point.
Oh, TV show.
Jaleel White from Family Matters. Urkel. He
Yeah.
had like the personality switch where
Yeah.
he went from Stephen Urkel to Stefan Urkel.
That's awesome.
I'm the older one. I'm the oldest one here. Freaking people probably aren't going to get a lot of the shit that I reference.
You're not the
I'm pretty-
oldest one here.
You sure? I'm 32.
27.
32, 27, 16, ladies. I am 16 and jailbait. Do not come after me. I'm taking
Pre-orders, sign up here.
no, 22. Dude, I forgot my age. I was talking to my
22?
brother. Yeah, I'm 22.
Jeez, Jesus Christ.
I know. It's a shocking experience.
You're ahead of your time, bro. You know that? Like you're really ahead. Like what was I doing when I was 22? I failed to live on my own for a year. That's what happened with me at 22. 22, I was a failure.
I've talked about this. I think in literally the first episode of the podcast, but I've explained it many times. Like I've always been afraid of death. So one thing I do to cope with it is to sit there and educate myself in every possible way. So when I do get to that point where I'm like, I'm gonna die, I can be like, I did so much stuff. Like, I've learned how to shoot a gun, to I've learned everything when I was 18. I got a management job at Amazon, to I've moved out of my parents' house when I was 18 and moved right into with my girlfriend with an agreement of if we break up of any sort, we're done. I'll be the one that moves. She can keep the apartment because she made more. So I was like, okay, that's what we'll do. I'll move back in with my family. Yeah, it's fine. And I started YouTube, and I started educating myself. Like, I've literally, I'm ahead of where I should be, because I will talk to business people. I've talked to a guy who owns a trucking company out of Tennessee, and he did not believe how old I was. And I almost got my diesel mechanic license, to owning a truck company, to like, and he was just shocked. But it's knowledge that you can put upon yourself to get where you are to the day. So I'm just like, fill yourself up with knowledge. And now I'm spending every waking moment I can understanding how Mr. Beast is a billionaire and how I make $12 off of YouTube. So I'm over here educating myself on how to be successful in the platforms that I want to be successful for. And that's why I'm starting right now. I'm starting my new podcast. It's called Think About It. That would be such a cool name for a podcast. Think about it, and just talking about like how to grow on YouTube. Wait until I'm successful, guys. Then I'll do it. When I become successful, I will do it. Joseph, thank you for searching up Think About It for a podcast, making sure that no one else has the name.
You're welcome.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm freaking 5 years older than one of my closest friends.
Yeah, you talked to me when I was underage, Charles. FBI, open up, bitch.
It is all about you hearing the facts and then breaking free from the lies to make your own reasonable choices. What's going on in this world, and does it relate to the Bible?
You know what? I'm starting a podcast. Think about it. When I become successful, starting a podcast called Think About It, and I'm going to teach you how to grow on social media. And I'm going to be like, every guy, I'm going to get a Lambo that I rent. I'm going to get some girls I have to pay, and they're going to be in bikinis. I'm going to be in a private jet. I'm just going to be like, knowledge. Knowledge is how you get there.
Every 5 seconds in every Van Hoss video.
I was curious to see if there was a podcast called Let Me Get Back to You. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there is?
Oh, yeah, there's a podcast. Yeah, I mean, there's a game in here somewhere, but like, all right, let's make a statement and see if how many podcasts are based off that.
I had an idea. I've thought about doing a podcast where I can just rant about wrestling.
Basic Bitches podcast.
There's definitely one there. Charles, go ahead. What was the podcast idea you had?
I've had a name for a while. There's something I used to call whenever I ranted about stuff. It's basically one that I've thought about as I started doing live stream reactions to wrestling stuff lately, and I've thought about doing it for where I could have my own little podcast where maybe if any of my friends come in, I can figure just rant about wrestling.
Charles, you know what can get you started immediately? Anchor. You can download Anchor on your phone, plug your headphones in, hit that record button, start blasting about your podcast, what you want to do with it. And then you can edit it. Everything else is on the Anchor app. It is just one app. It's totally free to use and get paid immediately. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. But this segment's not the sponsor, but you could use Anchor. Get your podcast started right now. You could do it. You could do it. Don't hold back what you can do tomorrow. Do it today. I missaid that so bad. It was supposed to be something like, don't do something you can hold off tomorrow. I forgot how that term went. It's like pretty much. How does that? Oh man, this is called the podcast where I can't think of the proper meanings for things.
This will be a great episode once it's edited.
It's gonna be a great episode when it's only 20 minutes long. People are like, wow, this podcast ran quick. No, we
never leave. Oh God, I know it. I just it's the specificity of it. I can't.
I know
remember.
It's like don't
leave
off something
for
you
tomorrow
could do today
that you can solve today. A stitch in time saves 9.
Yeah, it's like
another way of it.
Yeah, it's something to do with that. But
better to be pimping than simping.
Dude, I'd live by that one.
Yeah.
That's the second rule of the pimping. Rule number 1, it ain't easy. Easy spelled easy.
If you ever feel like if you just need ideas for shorts, you can just take whenever I just flip out about something, just put it on your channel. I honestly don't care.
Honestly, though, on the
I got
upside,
one more saying.
Yeah, what you say? What you say?
I got 99 problems. Damn, that's a lot of problems.
I thought you were going to say a gun's not one of them, but you don't have a freaking gun.
I thought he was going to talk about a female dog, but okay. But, I mean, when it's all said and done with the shorts, I have no lack of shorts. We have so many shorts from streaming to everything else, and I really need to get the podcast to have shorts. But if once I stop doing 24-hour challenges, it can happen. But speaking of talking about my social, I want to hear you guys' social if you guys have nothing else you want to add to the podcast.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I've let a lot of things out of my system, more than I should have. But anyways, my online presence is giantenemycompany.com. I am the current host of an e-commerce podcast called Economics. It is ECOMONICS. It's a fantastic show. It's definitely changed my life, and not financially per se, but we'll get there. But it's opened my eyes to the way the world works and what people were capable of. It's how I met present company. So that alone is not only does it speak to that podcast, but also to the power of podcasting in general. So even if you have the slightest inclination to do your own business, maybe you want to start up a small side hustle, or if you just want to do a blog, just talk about stuff you like, we can still help you figure out ways to make that more worth your while. So whatever it is you want to do, you can do it, and you can be compensated for it. We don't have retirement anymore, so you might as well get paid to do something. That's me.
Awesome. And what about your streaming career? What about your website?
I was gonna say it, but I don't think this episode is gonna be out before I do my first stream.
Okay. So what about your website?
Giantenemycompany.com. I need to update that, which, you know what, maybe I should. I got an hour before I go play lightsabers with Jen. I'm gonna go update my website after I'm done. Oh no, I told myself today I'd get my crypto wallet set up. Things to do. Anyways, giantenemycompany.com. You'll see links to the stuff that I get up to, and fingers crossed I give it a much needed coat of paint, because it needs one. All right, cool. Thanks very much.
I feel like a piece of shit because I didn't even know Joseph had a website.
I mean, I've talked about it before. I don't know.
Honestly, I'm thinking
what else I can do.
Like,
Look, it's not. Yeah, it's really more of like a living resume than a full-on website.
That's the greatest thing ever. I did not expect to hear that. Like, I expect to say
about his freaking YouTube channel that, as far as I know, that he does stuff with.
Well, that's the whole brand. So there's Giant Enemy Channel, then Giant Enemy Company, and then my comic, Giant Enemy Comic, which will eventually, I'm gonna condense everything into Giant Enemy Company, because I have a bunch of websites running, and it is expensive to run multiple websites.
Oh yeah.
So lesson learned.
Yeah, it's easier to just get it down to one website and then have different categories on that website for what you're gonna do. It's much easier and much more efficient. But speaking of efficiency, Charles, what you do?
If anybody freaking actually likes listening to me freaking ranting and raging about stuff, or just watching me be at least somewhat alright, if not at least good at freaking playing certain video games, or if you just like watching my live streams that I've been starting to do on a somewhat regular basis lately, since I've actually gotten comfortable with doing everything whenever I live react to wrestling stuff with my friends. And just go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, CG the Lone Wolf, which is really doing better than I thought it would have been by now. Freaking fact that I have over 100 subs, and I'm always started on the way to getting to 200, which I hopefully might hit by this time next year, but I'm not freaking counting my blessings on that.
The
whole 30th anniversary thing for Destiny, and hopefully whenever I can get the freaking campaign part of freaking Halo Infinite, I won't be short on shit that I'll be doing.
Well, no more going to Barnes & Noble for you. Okay, just take the cards, put them down, and just don't. But speaking of things that you should do, is you should go over to Skull Hunter Games. That is where I'm at. Our streaming and our posts and our shorts and TikToks and everything else over at Skull Hunter Games. That is on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. That's where it's at. And maybe you want to know where we get this podcast from. It doesn't matter if you're listening to audio, video. You might want to know, where can I listen to this elsewhere? Where can I support you guys even more? But we are on everywhere you can get your podcast from, including soon to be Apple Podcasts. We're almost there. We're finally getting that worked out. Thank you, Apple, for finally answering me. I greatly appreciate you guys. We are soon going to be on there, guys. So if you are on a computer and want to listen to this on Apple, we are almost there. We're almost there. We're almost to that point. And we are on YouTube and Facebook under the name Skull Hunter Podcast. That is obviously where you will find the video version of this podcast. And you might want to see. There's some goofs, there's some faces, there's some laughs, there's some acting. You should go watch it there. And last but not least, we have The Architect. The Architect is on Twitter. That's the best place you can follow him. He also has a YouTube channel. I will put one of them down in the links down below so you guys can go check him out. He cannot be here because he has family matters. We all know that. We just give him a hard time. We love you, James. And without further ado, guys, we done it. Daddy's gone. Daddy's gone. He's getting milk. He's never coming back. So without further ado, guys, goodbye, everybody.
By the time this thing comes out, Halo, I'm gonna be out. It'll be the best fucking game that's come out.
That's my favorite quote from Iron Man. It's like, yeah, my dad went off against Crash Tickets, and I guess he won because he didn't come back.